Hello and welcome to Oulton Park for race 1 of 2021. Here I am at Oulton Park for race 1 of 2021, and as you can see we have the most terrific dry weather. It's Friday, it's test day, 4 sessions of testing. I've just done my first session, which was great to get back out on this truly epic circuit. The next session I'm going to be joined by race driver coach Scott Gillam, so I'm really looking forward for finding all of that extra time. It's just lovely to be in the paddock and with the Caterham graduates. The atmosphere here is truly terrific. We're very much looking forward to welcoming the families and all of the spectators at later races in the season. But today, sadly, is behind closed doors, but I'm going to do the very best I can to bring you as much of the fun and the action as possible. Join me for the next test session. During Friday, I shared the driver coach, Scott Gillam. Initially, Scott jumped in the car with me to make sure I was doing everything fundamentally correctly and point out anything in particular I could do to improve my driving. At the end of each session, I sat with Scott to analyse the video and the data, and we looked for ways to further improve my laps. In general, Scott identified that I could be carrying about 5 miles an hour extra in pretty much every corner on the circuit. He identified I needed to roll the car into many corners and reduce the aggression of my steering. This particularly helped for Druids. Let's take a look at a lap and I'll show you on the video and the data some of the changes made. On the left hand side is my session from Friday, and on the right hand side is my session from Saturday practice. In the traces, my Friday is represented by the green line and the Saturday practice is represented by the red line. From these traces you can see that my braking point for Old Hall had moved further down the road and I was braking lighter. The mid-corner speed had increased from 76 miles an hour to 79. The speed was then carried all the way down through Avenue, all the way to Cascades and gaining time. Through Cascades you can see the mid-corner speed was 68 and that was up to 75 miles an hour for Saturday. Again, this speed is carried all the way down and through Island Bend. That mid-corner speed also improved at Island Bend by that 5 miles an hour from 94 up to 100 miles an hour. If we take a look at Druids, again achieving that 5 mile an hour mid-corner speed improvement from 77 up to 83 miles an hour. And at the final corner Lodge you can see how my braking point was much further down the road. Scott had me taking a later apex at Lodge, so I've got a better exit, and as you can see by the red trace here, I'm getting a better drive all the way down the start finish straight. MSV and Jonathan Palmer really do insist on their grounds being kept to excellent conditions. Oulton Park is beautiful. I just thought I'd come to the trackside to show you something. As you will know, I've got an association with go-karting, but this takes it perhaps to another level. These are supercars out on track and they are so quick. Come and take a look at this. So I've got myself a brand new toy, shift lights, and also it's got a kind of connection into my V-Box for some extra data, a throttle trace and a few other bits and pieces. But Jim is kindly fitting this for me, but I say fitting, it's ever so easy to fit. I'll show you how it's done in just a second.
That goes to the ECU of the car.
Okay.
Plug into the RaceSense itself, like so. And then there's 2 other connectors. So you've got the connector here, which goes to sensors, like brake sensors, that sort of thing. But also it plugs into your V-Box. Pull this around, you'll see there's now a spare connector in there, which is CAN.
Yeah.
So you just connect the CAN lead to the back of this, just clips in, like so. And then we can put that back like that. We'll tidy the wiring up a bit later on. So that's all set now. And then this particular model of RaceSense has a plug-in shift light.
Okay. We're just going to install the actual shift light.
So we're going to do a permanent install of the shift light itself. So that does involve fitting the grommet through the scuttle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to position the shift light just slightly to one side of the steering wheel, which is what most people do. You'll find that the shift light is so bright you don't actually need it right in the middle of your vision.
Okay.
It's sufficiently bright to have it in your peripheral vision.
So what's going on here, Stu?
This is our Christmas present, Rob.
Yeah.
It's come especially from Father Christmas for the class of 2020 here. So whoever's here from the class of 2020 gets to drink the real ale that's in here.
Oh, come on then. What number are you going for?
Number one.
Straight on
Number one. See what we got. Rude Mechanical's first audition composed pale ale. Now, usually I'm not really a pale ale sort of a chap, but I'll give it a go.
Oh, gets in. So, am I in on
Which
number
one?
2?
Which one are you going for?
Well, how about number 7? I'm number 7. Can I do that?
Yeah. Let's
about
find
that?
number 7. We've got to find it.
Here we are.
You got it? Do it for you?
Go on then.
Oh, mate, you got a can. A Malt Coast Pale Ale. We are the Pale Ale Brothers.
Oh, come on then. Cheers. Cheers.
Cheers, buddy.
That's epic. And there's the end of the test day, and what a brilliant day it's been. It's such a lovely evening. We've come out for a track walk, 2.8 mile circuit, so it's going to take a little while, but it's really interesting to get out on the circuit and look at some of the curbs and whatever close up. It looks a lot different at 3 miles an hour than it does at 100 miles an hour, but such a lovely evening. The camber on the track here is incredible. I hope it comes out on the video. So we'll complete our track walk. We're going to have a barbecue and maybe 1 or 2 beers, and then we're going to turn in ahead of tomorrow, which is race day, race number 1 of 2021. Good morning from Cheshire's fantastic, if not slightly terrifying, Oulton Park circuit, and it's race day, race 1 of 2021, and I'm feeling mainly excited with a small amount of nerves, but I guess nerves are good because that's the bit that keeps us focused, right? So I've got a busy day ahead of me. I've got a short practice session at 8:45, and then almost immediately, just about a half an hour's gap, into qualifying, and then we've got race 1 and race 2 all during the afternoon. On top of that, we'll be watching the Sigmax and Sigma 150 races as well. Plus, I can't wait to see those supercars tearing around this track. They are even more terrifying than this Oulton Park circuit. So anyway, a fantastic day ahead. I've come across to the far side of the circuit to have a chat with you this morning, near the water tower corner, and you really get some idea of the huge gradient rise you get coming up from Knickerbrook and looking down towards Druids, which is most probably the trickiest and the most terrifying bend at Oulton Park, but a huge amount of fun. You're entering there at a huge speed, and the mid-corner speed is well up into the 80s in a car like mine. Looking back on yesterday, what a wonderful day the test day was. 4 lovely sessions. The weather, you know, it could not have been better for April, that's for sure. It actually got really quite warm in the afternoon. But the company, the people around in the paddock are just so friendly. I felt at home immediately, so thank you everybody from Caterham Graduates for making myself and all of the other newcomers so welcome yesterday. It really is nice. The standards out on track in testing were excellent, and I'm really looking forward to those good driving standards throughout today in qualifying and racing as well. I had Scott with me, who found me a large chunk of time, and I've got things to continue to work on today and actually throughout the season with a couple of techniques, so thanks ever so much, Scott. And then we finished the evening with a Boris Johnson COVID approved, socially distanced barbecue. Now, normally the Caterham Graduates would want to welcome all of the families into the paddock and have a nice large social event of a weekend. At this point of the year, we're unable to do it, but we did do what we could. And Cy Shaw and his lovely partner, they put on a fabulous barbecue and spread, and we was able to get around. We had a little fire going. Many thanks, Roger Ford. That was a lovely touch, and it certainly did take the chill off the cold evening air, and what a lovely evening we had. And here we are, fresh. It's just after 6 o'clock this morning, ready for the day ahead. Okay, so qualifying done. I've got good and bad news. It's my best ever qualifying. I've qualified in 5th position, which I am ecstatic about. I think it was a 1 minute 56. Best ever time around here. That's the good news. The bad news is 2 laps from the end, literally a couple of minutes to go, and I put the car into the tyre barrier. Thankfully it's not too bad. LFP, Aaron and his team here, good as gold. They're tending to the car right now. It's going to need a few bits, but we're really hopeful we're going to be out for race number 1. Here are a few race highlights from race 1. This year I'll publish separate videos for the full races, along with footage from other drivers' perspectives. Well, I got away from the line fairly cleanly. The other cars got away much quicker and I lost many places on the start. Stu Hatzel, my paddock buddy, getting his car right past me on the outside. That corner's his. Still, I knew not to give up and look for the switchback, as I knew I was fairly rapid around the Druid section of this circuit. Picking up the slipstream on the way out of Druids, I pull my car over to the right as we head into Lodge. While I got my car alongside, I had to make sure I could make the corner, and with Stu on the outside, leave him a full car's width on the exit. Stu was much quicker through the corner and took the place back, this time for keeps. We shared the grid with the Sigmax and 150 classes. You need to be aware of these, they're having a race of their own as well. Their cars are much quicker, so here I am pulling to one side to let them pass and carry on their race. Lydia Gold there taking the place for me as we head into Island Bend. Lydia was one of my inspirations to start racing after watching her in an interview when she's in a Caterham Academy series. This was the final lap, so I only had a few corners to see if I could make that place back. Slightly hampered as we head up the hill through Water Tower towards Druids. Lydia carried good speed through Druid, so I was unable to get past her on the way down towards Lodge. My only hope was to see if I could carry more speed through Lodge and down the start-finish straight for the final time before we reached the line. Great racing, thanks Lydia.
Third best improver was Adam Harrison. Second best improver, Andrew Cooper. Virtual hug. And first best improver, Neil Evans. Right, in third place was Chris Silkhorn. I'll get it right again. And in second place was, I think with a new lap record, I need to verify it, David Reed.
Race 1 done. Well, it didn't really go to plan. I started in my best ever starting position. I started 5th and finished 22nd. 22nd out of 25. So right down towards the back. What went wrong? Get that book of excuses out, here we go. The first one's not an excuse. my start was appalling. I got off to a good initial first phase of the start, but then I didn't hook it up, got swamped out a bit into the first corner, ended up losing a whole heap of places. Beautiful driving from everybody else. It was purely down to me, so I need to rethink about how to get off to a better start in race 2. The bigger problem though is the brakes. What we didn't spot from the collision earlier in the day is there was a leak coming from one of the brake unions, and it meant the pedal was really long and I only had, I would say, 70-80% of the braking power I really should have. And there's some huge braking areas here at Oulton Park. You've got Island Bend into Shell Oils doing well over 100 miles an hour and having to decelerate down to 50 miles an hour is a huge brake, so you need the confidence and the power to be able to get on and stop. So I gradually slid back and back through the pack, but I had great fun whilst doing so. There were some good battles going on right the way through the pack and lovely clean racing, just as you would expect at Graduates. So the other thing as well is the last time I drove the car, I put it in the tyre barrier, and then like a whatever hour and a half later I'm back in the car on the grid, and I've not had the chance to try the car to build the confidence up. I've not had the chance to build my confidence back up, and I'm on the grid in a race, so that takes a little bit of computing as well. So not long now until race number 2, and I'll be starting in 13th place. The grid positions for race 2 are based on your second fastest qualifying times of today, so 13th for me, so right in the middle of the pack, and a real opportunity to get back out there and show what we can do. I'm conscious that we might have a further problem with the brakes, so I'll use the green flag lap as the opportunity to test the brakes as much as possible, and if they're not right, I'll be coming back in. Again, if there's a problem within the race, I'll know that there could be something else, and the safest thing to do is bring the car in and kind of end the race early. But all being well, that won't happen, and I'm really looking forward to getting stuck into an excellent race number 2 in this beautiful sunshine. So let's take a look at a few of the race highlights from race 2, and remember, the full race will be available on YouTube. Bit of a better start. I didn't make anything. I certainly lost a couple of places, but nowhere near as bad as the first race, and we're all through turn 1 safely. There we are, right behind my paddock mate, car 100, Stu Hatzel. Into Island Bend, through comes Simon White. I had a good drive through Island Bend, and Simon leaving his car nicely positioned to the outside, knowing I was likely to be on the inside up towards Shell Oils for the first time. And with cold tyres and cold brakes, you really do need to make sure you've got all the road you need to stop and gather that car up, leaving Simon a car's width of room on the way out of Shell Oils in case he got a good drive out. So here I am on Stu Hatzel again through Druids. As you remember from race 1, good pace through there, picking up the slipstream and alongside Stu. Fairly easy pass as we move into Lodge. I'm completely in front of him this time and able to take the full width of the track on the way out of Lodge, and this time I made it stick. But Stu knows there'll always be another opportunity, and on the way into Island he slipstreams me and gets right back past me and makes it stick. Really good fun, great couple of races, Stu. Andrew Cooper nicely ran the outside of me on the way into the Britain chicane. He just manages to gather it together. It hampered my drive out slightly. Mark Lovett able to take advantage and overtook me on the way down to the Knickerbrook chicane. Carbon copy of race 1. Here comes Lydia Gould. We had some great racing this weekend, Lydia. The car going slightly slower through Cascades than usual. I should have shifted down to 3rd to have given me enough punch to keep up with Lydia on the straight. Sold Lydia a little dummy coming into the Knickerbrook chicane. Trying really hard to make back these places. Here comes one of my Academy buddies from last year, and finishing third in the first race is Chris Skillicorn. And I'd like to take this opportunity to say hello to Chris's daughter, Heidi. Hello Heidi, and thank you so much for continuing to follow my channel. And here comes Charlie Cahill. Charlie is a novice. This was his first 2 races. I wasn't actually racing against Charlie, he was in the next class up, but doing incredibly well. Good turn of pace. Well done on getting those first 2 races under your belt, Charlie. And here comes Simon White into Island Bend and making it stick this time. As you remember, we had a little exchange of places at the beginning of the race. Coming out of Shallows, we come up on the couple of novices there, but it's down to us to make our way past those safely. Spotting the car from the other class, I let them through. While the brakes were sorted, the wheels were pointing in slightly different directions. My average lap speeds were down by about 3 seconds a lap. Whilst I made a few places, I lost a few more and eventually finished in 19th place. And on behalf of all of the drivers and Caterham graduates, thank you to the marshals. You do an absolutely terrific job. It's so great to see you waving and cheering at the end of every single race. We really appreciate it.
Okay, third place was in Fortescue. And second place, David Reed. I've got the name right. Right, okay, sorry, just verifying first names. And winner, James McCall.
And that brings an end to a fantastic couple of days from Oulton Park. It's been so nice to be back on track. Caterham graduates, thank you. You have made us so welcome. It's been really good. The fun off the track and the enjoyment on the track have both been truly excellent. So next stop is Snetterton. Now I won't be racing at Snetterton, but I will be going along to enjoy the fun of the paddock and to watch the racing. And I'm going to put all that together into a vlog for you as well. After that is the home of British Motorsport. We're off to Silverstone on the International Grand Prix circuit. Now that's always a real treat, so look forward to that one as well. Now if you've not done so already, please do take some time and look at the Caterham Graduates Racing Club YouTube site. There's lots of extra content on there. Some of it will be produced by myself, but there's lots of other content on there as well. So head over, take a look and subscribe to their channel as well. That would definitely be appreciated. If you've not done so already, please do subscribe because there will be more Oulton Park content and plenty more Caterham Graduates content throughout the season. It's always appreciated if you give the video a thumbs up, and any questions at all, please do not hesitate to get in contact with me. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you at Snetterton.